A thank you note issued by President Irfaan Ali following talks with Nicolas Maduro in St Vincent on Thursday acknowledged the support he received from Guyana's technical team, inclusive of all state actors, lawyers, and the expert national, regional, and international diplomats in securing a de-escalation of tensions between the neighboring states. And while both sides seemingly stuck to their hardened positions, Guyanese are celebrating the conclusion of the talks as a victory. It is no different for Venezuelans, with Maduro declaring, "We did it," on his return to Venezuela Thursday night. After almost 10 hours of talks involving mediators from CARICOM, CELAC, Brazil, and the United Nations, the two sides agree, among other things, not to use force in resolving the issue, but rather to rely on international law. This is expressly outlined in the Argyle Declaration, read in English by Prime Minister of St Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves.
Guyana and Venezuela declared as follows. 1. Agreed that Guyana and Venezuela directly or indirectly will not threaten or use force against one another in any circumstances, including those consequential to any existing controversies between the two states. 2. Agreed that any controversies between the two states will be resolved in accordance with international law, including the Geneva Agreement dated February 17, 1966.
Guyana and Venezuela also committed to good neighborliness, peaceful coexistence, and the unity of Latin America and the Caribbean. Interestingly, while it notes Guyana's assertion that it is committed to the process and procedures of the International Court of Justice for the resolution of the border controversy, it also noted Venezuela's assertion of its lack of consent and lack of recognition of the International Court of Justice and its jurisdiction in the border controversy.
6. Agreed that both states will refrain, whether by words or deeds, from escalating any conflict or disagreement arising from any controversy between them. The two states will cooperate to avoid incidents on the ground conducive to tension between them. In the event of such an incident, the two states will immediately communicate with one another, the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, the Community of Latin America and the Caribbean, CELAC, and the President of Brazil to contain, reverse, and prevent its recurrence.
And in agreeing to continue dialogue on other pending matters of mutual importance or consequential to the border issue, the two sides will meet again soon.
9. Both states agreed to meet again in Brazil within the next 3 months or at another agreed time to consider any matter with implications for the territory in dispute, including the above-mentioned update of the Joint Commission.
And while Dr. Ali is yet to host the press conference following the conclusion of the talks, his position is well known and was articulated repeatedly during the talks on Thursday.
Both parties committed to ensuring the region remains a zone of peace. I made it very clear that within the sovereign space of Guyana, we will continue to do everything that promotes the development, the advancement of our people, and all the partnerships necessary to ensure the defense and protection of what is ours.
Venezuela continues to assert claims over Guyana's Essequibo region, a resource-rich region of gold and diamonds and massive oil fields offshore. The International Court of Justice recently ruled that Guyana has governed and exercised sovereignty over the Essequibo region since 1899, when an arbitration tribunal declared the land boundary between the two countries, and Venezuela should refrain from seeking to change that. But Maduro pressed ahead with a referendum and then installed the governor he said would administer the affairs of Essequibo and issue ID cards to citizens and also grant license for Venezuelan companies to work in Guyana. Guyana and the international community have condemned the actions of the Venezuelan president, and high-level talks were called to seek a de-escalation of the conflict. For the newsroom, Kurt Campbell.